It's Tuesday, December 9th, and it's day 2 of me being able to be back in my office without all the symptoms I had every single day for 11 months. That did not go away with, you name the supplements in the regime. I am really emotional because maybe you have met me from this webinar I just did, but I just finished with Onyx Single's webinar where 4,000 people got to hear my story of how an AI clone that I created December 2024 kept my business rolling when I could not function. Okay, I had to get up and stretch. If we don't prioritize our body and we just sit here and completely waste away, it's not good. I'm going to be talking on this channel a lot about frequency medicine, and I wanted to share with you guys a little bit about what I'm actually going to be talking about. And there's a book I need to show you. Actually, 2 books. This is completely unedited. I wasn't sure if the camera turned back on. I paused it because I want you to get the raw real me. You get my clone on the Dr. McCoy channel, and you get some of my best thoughts on AI because I'm actually better at writing and thinking than just sitting down and speaking usually. But I will say this. The past 11 months have ingrained into me lessons and information I don't need a single script for. And if you're feeling like something's wrong, but the blood tests all show nothing, if you feel like something's off and you can't put your finger on it, you're not crazy. You're not crazy. I was told by some of the best doctors in the States that it was in my mind, in my head. Doctors are not equipped because they're the ones that have been lied to for centuries as well. A century, decades, but a full century, because in 1910, the American Medical Association outlawed electromagnetic frequencies to be used on patients, or doctors would lose their license. So I'm going to be talking to you about 2 things that gave me dramatic and fully restorative healing in November of 2025. I suffered for 10 months. It was literally month 10. Things began to change and shift. But I'm telling you, I did keto, I did carnivore, I did all the supplements you can think of. I did vitamin IVs, I did infusions. Forget things like hyperbaric and oxygen and all of that. It was too much for my system, which was so worn down that even getting up to walk created a reaction in my blood flow in my heart that felt like death. Literally just to walk down the street, I couldn't do for 10 months. So I said a book, but really it's 2 books I want to tell you about. The Resonance Effect by Carolyn McMacken, who is a pioneer behind FSM, frequency-specific microcurrent. And I worked with someone who trained under her, has been to her conferences. This book is a wealth of information about frequencies and how people have healed, complete healing, using frequency-specific microcurrent, which again was outlawed for practice in 1910. And if you Google it, there's no information on this stuff. The reason this just gets to my psyche is because I spent 10 months in a predicament. Over 20 doctors didn't know how to heal. And that's by design, because here in America, it is intentional that doctors don't know that we are bioelectrical beings. I thought I was actually going to be a doctor when I was a kid. I went to nursing school. I got halfway through college. Drugs, pharmaceuticals. how to poke somebody's arm with a needle. We didn't learn. I went through biology. I went through anatomy. We didn't learn that we are bioelectrical beings, but yet every single cell has a resonance. And if you create a resonance effect of health, of the correct frequency speaking to that cell, you have immediate cell health. You have cellular energy. You have cellular detox. This is the other book. You're going to think I'm either absolutely crazy or you're going to be like, Julia's onto the truth. Because that is what Dr. Brian Ardis usually creates in people. It is incredible that this man was able to publish this book and still be alive today. God has put his hand on his life completely. He exposes what COVID actually is, how it mimics a virus, but it's not, the origins of it. Highly, highly recommend. But because I just finished this webinar and I told 4,000 people about this complete miracle, that I'm here, that I'm healing, that every day is getting better, my friends on that webinar, my co-hosts, people I haven't seen in over a year, looked at me and they said, Julia, you look amazing. You look like you're getting your health back. I had a friend who I haven't seen in about 6 months, who I just saw last week. She looked at me and she said, Julia, your light is back. It had been gone for about 9 months. So I'm going to be interviewing people on this channel, people that know things about this, maybe have even architected some of the systems. I'm very, very, very much interested in EMF and how the radiation from that has caused a lot of prolonged chronic disease. Just a few decades ago, only 3% of Americans had chronic illness. Now it's more than 70%. Why is America the single country with the highest infant mortality rate? Does it have something to do with all the unnatural products we pump in our babies at birth? I've just started to ask, did God make this? And if he did, and it grew on a tree, and it ripened, and it sprouted in the soil, and it grew from God's earth. But if it was injected, if it was prescribed, why? And I know in the medical industry, there's lives that are saved. I don't want to discount that. I think that there's a lot of great doctors, a lot of great people in the medical industry that are potentially completely unaware, like I was. Because to admit that chemtrails are real is to admit you're living in a communist country that would willingly spray toxins on its own citizens every day. But yet, we live such a free life. It's the land of the free. It's really hard to know and then admit to yourself that maybe everything you were ever taught was a lie. In the history books, in the documentaries, in public school. But there's hope and there's total healing. I'm walking in it, and it's a complete miracle. I thought I'd never be able to walk in a grocery store again. Light, sound, people, voices, it all hit my head. And my head, which was swollen, could not handle any of that. So besides FSM, and now I can handle an entire store and a restaurant afterwards. And this is just, hold on. I wasn't sneezing for 10 months. I'm sneezing again. And the reason I'm talking about all this is I know I'm not the only one. I think I just was blessed to get hit early. When 5G on every corner in America is turned on, did you know that the gigahertz it operates at can be turned up to lethal amounts and immediately create death? For the sake of faster internet? So besides FSM, which radically brought my brain back online and told my nervous system how to respond, I'm going to be telling you about this. You've seen me talk about this before, and in the description of this video is a link to where you can buy this. If you know somebody that is on a deathbed, if you know somebody that has a ton of things wrong with them and there's been no answer, and they're on life support, maybe they're on feeding tubes, maybe they're completely just inebriated, they can't work at a computer anymore, like that was me. I began to feel frequencies throughout my body when I would touch a computer that shocked my heart and made my heart react in a really scary, horrible way. And it just got worse. I don't have that anymore. You need to get this. There's been no single product I've ever used, at the risk of sounding like a product junkie and somebody just peddling crap. I'm not. This is the stuff that I'm telling you we need. The world needs. It's 44 Mediterranean plant molecules that took a team of quantum physicists 50 years to unearth. They launched the company in 2021. It's called Nutrax. This is the iHercules. The owners of this company are 70 years old. I'm trying to get them interested in updating the website because the website is this stuff, which I started November 7th, completely started to turn me around. In days, I had symptoms leave that haven't left me for a year. So,
I don't know if my FaceTime's working.
And I just got done, as I said, with the webinar, and some symptoms were hitting me because, like, I haven't had the pressure of being on camera in front of people in a long time, and the symptoms were triggering weird things in my chest, but you know what, like 5% of what I used to feel. And I sprayed this under my tongue right before I jumped on this video recording, and I felt blood circulate throughout my hands again. Like, my extremities were going numb, but not in a horrible way that used to happen. Praise God. This is a blood detox, a full blood detox. And I'm telling you, we're going to need miracle cures. That's my belief because of what we're up against. We're going to need them. But we're going to be talking about the knowledge, the truth on this channel, the truth of what we're up against, because there's so much misinformation out there, and I spent 10 months researching all of this. And there's just not enough truth out there. There's not one place to go to learn about why frequency medicine even works, because a lot of it just sounds woo-woo. But I'm telling you, it brought me back to life. So we're going to be doing interviews with people that have seen people radically heal using frequency medicine. We're going to be doing interviews with people that know about the systems and the dangers of it all, and why you're not going crazy. This is not in your mind. There's cures out there. There's healing, complete healing. I was in a place I thought, I told myself the promises of God every day, but it felt hopeless because nothing was working. In Leviticus, it says, the life of the flesh is in the blood. And if we detox our blood, and no, you don't need a $10,000 IV treatment. God gave us plants that do just that. And they figured out how to pull out the plant molecules at their quantum level. That's what this is. And this sat on my shelf for 2 months. I thought it was a complete gimmick. I bought it in July. So there's hope. There's healing. There's life. There's springs of water in the freaking desert. One of you left me this verse. On my channel, on this new channel. Jeremiah 33:6. Nevertheless, I will bring health and healing to it. I will heal my people and will let them enjoy abundant peace and security. When all hope seems lost, which I believe is the times we are entering. I don't believe it's going to be a utopia. When all hope seems lost, there is still a healer. There is still a redeemer. And we have to keep believing. Something I never did this year was I never gave up hope. I never took on the diagnosis as my label. I never just... No, I'm still Julia, even though I didn't even recognize myself. God is still in the business of healing. And Hosea 4:6 says, my people perish for lack of knowledge. I'm telling you, the truest thing in the world is the Word of God, because I have seen it come to life this year. I believed in God before this, but man, now He is the light of my life. He is the Redeemer. I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of Israel. And He is not going to leave us without hope and help in these horrifying times. And I don't really care if I sound crazy. What I went through can't just be shoved under a rug. And what I learned isn't leaving my mind. I wake up with it there every day. So I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you found me and this channel. And I want you to know that I'm going to steward this channel really carefully. And the conversations you're going to hear on it are not just some woo-woo energy healers. Okay? They're the people that have helped me come out of the trap I was in. They're the doctors that introduced me to FSM, my functional medicine doctor. They're the people that went through 5 years of a complete crash and then found FSM. They're the people that were stoned and chastised because they kept saying the truth when COVID came out. They're the people that maybe designed systems they regret they helped build. We're going to be having those conversations. So I don't even know where this will go. I don't. But I know we've got to talk about this. We can't just shove it under the rug and say, oh, you're crazy. Oh, it's just in your mind. Oh, it's just from trauma. Oh, it's just from years of stress. No. It's not. And you're not crazy. I remember the moment of hope I had in March when I found an Eastern medicine doctor that said, it was the first doctor that sat me down. My head was cracking. I couldn't even open my eyes to look at her. I was just rocking my body like this in absolute breakdown. We get in her office and she looks at me, hands me a box of tissue. She leans in and she says, you're not crazy. This isn't in your mind. And that's where we're going to start on this channel. I pray and believe in total healing for you, like it's happening for me. And I'm so glad you're here with me.